The Triple Crown News Minute for Thursday, May 16th is presented by Kirkwood Stables. They're located in Barn C at the Fasig-Tipton Midlantic sale. You don't want to miss them. And we're going to talk about a couple of the horses they're consigning coming up. I'm Scott Jagow along with Joe Nevills. Glad to have you with us. Joe, let's start with the draw last night. The Preakness post position draw usually isn't that big of a deal. It's not like the Derby where you have 20 horses. But War of Will drew the rail again, as he did in the Derby, and I was sitting right next to Mark Casse, and you could just see his body language. He's, why me?
Yeah, and it's crazy, you know, to draw the one hole in two very large fields like the Derby and the Preakness. The odds of it happening are something along the lines of 260 to 1, something like that. Still longer odds than Country House.
That's a good point. But Casse was a good sport about it.
You know what? It is what it is, and we're going to have to deal with it. So, do I wish we had drawn farther outside? Of course. But we're going to have to deal with it.
Will you change any tactics in terms of his riding style or the jockey's instructions? Or?
I don't know. We kind of, you know, Tyler's going to have to, you know, play the break and see how it works. I don't think the one is quite as tough here, but I'll have to go study that. I didn't study it on purpose because I was hoping not to get it.
Well, Joe, besides War of Will, is there any other horse in the field that stood out to you in terms of where they drew?
Well, one of the real winners that I saw from the draw was number 3, Warrior's Charge. This is a horse that's won his last 2 starts at Oak Lawn Park, and he did them both going on the lead. The 3-hole gives him a pretty low path of resistance for getting into the front, getting onto the rail, and if he can get there without any problem, then he'll be able to run his race.
Okay, so he's one of the 9 horses that did not run in the Kentucky Derby. We're very familiar with the 4 that did, but we don't know that much about some of these other ones. So give me a horse out of that group of 9 that didn't run in the Derby and make a case.
I'm all over the local horse, number 7, Alwaysmining. This is a horse that came up on the Maryland Trail to the Preakness Stakes, and you would think that because of that, he's just beaten up on a bunch of local horses, but he has some wins against legitimate horses in here. Among them is Win, who he's going to face in the Preakness Stakes on Saturday. Also beat Gray Magician earlier on. Finished second in the UAE Derby, also ran in the Kentucky Derby this year, so he's got some real backing to him. Really put it all together in his most recent start, the Federico Tessio. Showed a bit of tactical speed in there after being kind of a front runner beforehand. Really put that together. Trainer Kelly Rubley was very satisfied with the effort.
Well, you know, I think that was the most pressure we felt going into that race because we were meant to win it the way we did. And so what a relief to see him coming down the stretch like that. And, you know, I think the best part about him is he just gets faster. So we're really looking forward to this race.
Well, Alwaysmining is a Maryland bred, and a Maryland bred has not won the Preakness since 1983 with deputed testimony. So that's interesting. And also the other angle there is no female trainer has won the Preakness, and Kelly Rubley has a chance to accomplish that feat as well. Okay, I'm going to make a case for somebody else of the new horses, Owendale. I don't quite understand the morning line on this, why he's 10 to 1 and another twist of fate is 6 to 1, because he did beat that horse by 2 3/4 lengths in the Lexington Stakes, making an unbelievable middle move into a slowish pace. It looks like he's improving. He's trained by Brad Cox, who is a very good trainer. Laurent Giroux gets them out. His only bad race was the Risen Star, where he was wide throughout. So I really like Owendale as a potential upsetter, long shot pick in the Preakness. All right, Joe, let's talk about a couple of these horses that are in the sale for Kirkwood Stables.
Yeah, Kirkwood Stables had a very big Wednesday during the Undertax show at the Maryland State Fairgrounds. Led by Hip 213, this is a Union Rags colt out of Mineshaft mare ISABELLE'S Thunder. Was a co-fastest quarter mile, going 21 3/5 seconds. Sired by Union Rags, who of course has Laughing Fox in the Preakness, so something to keep an eye on for later. Another one that performed very well was Hip 296. This is a Pioneer of the Nile out of another Mineshaft mare, Miner's Secret. Went a quarter mile in 21 4/5 seconds at to tick off the fastest time at the distance on Wednesday. This is a half to Grade 2 winner Coal Front and Grade 2 Place Stakes winner Conquest Titan.
All right, we appreciate the support of Kirkwood Stables. Please visit them at Barn C at the Fasig-Tipton Midlantic sale. That is going to do it for this edition of the Triple Crown News Minute. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.